Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. Hope you're all having a great day. Today, we have racing in just the Cup Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway. That is all we have coming your way today. Very excited, though, to bring you guys this race in, which could be a step in the right direction or in the wrong direction for our Roush LeBron number 6 team here, as we have a Mac Tools paint scheme on the car made by Lantion for us here today. First time this season, we're using that paint scheme. A red and white combination looks really, really good here as we were underway on our qualifying attempt already here with a goal of a 29.617, and we had come through to cross the line with a 29.866, so a little bit off the goal, putting us here in P26 for the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500. So some work to do, but I legitimately think we have some top 15 potential speed in this car today, so I wasn't too concerned with that qualifying effort, as we usually qualify a lot worse at Atlanta than what we run no matter what the car is there. As you see, Lewis Hamilton rounds out the top 10, and on pole we got Ryan Preece for Atlanta Motor Speedway. Welcome to Henry County, Georgia, here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, which opened back in 1960s. Actually, airstrip right outside of this racetrack behind the back straightaway. So, ready to go green here from Atlanta. Very excited for this one today. A big test for this Roush LeBron racing team, coming off of our best race of the season at Richmond International Raceway last episode.
I have no idea when they're going to repave this place. We have enough tires though, so just take care of the car for me.
Could you imagine if they tried to reconfigure this track to produce pack racing here? That would be really stupid, but I don't think NASCAR would ever do that. There you hear myself on the radio. NASCAR would never try to produce pack racing with a reconfiguration of Atlanta Motor Speedway, would they? Or, well, you know what? That's exactly what they're trying to do with the next-gen car next year. A very interesting direction they're trying to go with this next-gen car. Not really sure how I feel about it. Let me know in the comments what you think about that whole situation with Atlanta and just the direction NASCAR is going in general with the racing product they're trying to put on the track now. As we are ready to go green, though, from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, this track has been very kind to us in the past. It's also been very rough to us in the past, especially when we've hit the apron and spun ourselves out multiple times at this racetrack in the past in that number 24 car for Gordon Hendrick Motorsports. But here we are in this Roush LeBron racing team, and we've had, of course, a rough season. Right now, we are less than 20 points below getting into the playoffs. So we have an opportunity, potentially, to have a good run here today in Atlanta to get ourselves in that top 16, because in Richmond, we had an incredible run. We were competitive. We actually had an opportunity to win that race, and unfortunately, we just still don't have the speed in this car to just downright straight up go and win a race on speed. But if we can maybe find ourselves with strategy, we can maybe get ourselves into a good spot and potentially win on that kind of situation. And at Richmond, of course, I mean, just a little bit heartbreaking it was right at the end of that race, knowing we were so close to winning with this Roush LeBron racing team, and it just wasn't meant to be. So hopefully today we can have a nice strong top 15, top 10 run. That would be really nice. You never know what's going to happen when it comes to these mile-and-a-half races, so a lot of crazy stuff could happen with strategy. Maybe some people could get caught laps down. We'll have to wait and see how this folds out. Lewis Hamilton started 10th and was leading by lap 3, and I was like, oh no, this guy is probably going to absolutely destroy the competition here today in Atlanta. Now, the kind of mid part of this pack was being held up by a couple of cars, and that was actually the 21 of Anthony Alfredo and the 2 of Ryan Preece, who won his second race of the season in the last episode. So Preece, who started up front, going backwards. Hamilton, who started 10th, going nothing but forwards now, as we were 3 wide here on the inside and just moving our way through the traffic. These couple of slow cars of Alfredo and the 6 of Preece, or sorry, the 2 of Preece, was really helping myself move through this field a lot smoother and faster than I should have ever been able to. So I was pretty grateful for this 21 of Anthony Alfredo just planting himself in the way of everybody, and same for the 2 of Ryan Preece. Now, as we're already up in a P13 on the 6th lap of the first and opening stage, Chris Buescher would actually take the lead for Red Bull Racing over Lewis Hamilton. Christian Eckes was up in the mix at this point early on in the race. It was actually Mercedes versus Red Bull. An absolute blast it is watching Mercedes versus Red Bull in real life in Formula One this season, and hopefully it can produce the same action here today from Atlanta. Now, as we even passed our rival of Joey Logano and entered the top 10 here in Atlanta on just the 10th lap of this race on the outside of the number 16 colleague driver of Kaz Grala. Now, Kyle Busch up there in P8 here, his final trip to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, as we go down into turns 1 on lap 12, we actually got forced 3 wide into turns 1 by Joey Logano. That kind of caught me way off guard. I was already turning into the corner expecting Grala solid to be on the inside. Didn't quite happen that way, and now we drop back down to P11 briefly, but immediately another opportunity opens up to go up the inside of that 16 car, and now into turns 3, though, we clip the apron a little bit right there, so we slide up that track just a tad bit, but it was okay. Now, as we were also closing in on green flag pit stops, Bubba Wallace for DoorDash's Toyota Camry, as well as 2311 Racing, of course, comes into the pit lane very early here, a lot earlier than I was anticipating, so I thought he had a problem at first, but no, he was doing a scheduled green flag pit stop. So everybody was starting to come into the pit lane here at the end of lap 13. Joey Logano comes in. Now Derek Kraus had gotten to my inside here. He has a lot more speed than I do in that 2311 Toyota Camry today, so I didn't really fight him too much, knowing as well that we were about to come into the pit lane ourselves. I decided to try and push it a little bit later than everybody here. You see a whole bunch of drivers come into the pit lane, except for the leader now of Christian Eckes, who would stay out, and Alex Bowman. He would stay out as well, but at the end of lap 15, Eckes comes in. I'm coming in. Alex Bowman is coming in. Pretty much everybody now that was left on the track coming in on this 15th lap. So simple call, two cans of fuel, 4 tires, and I did not make any adjustments to the car because it overall felt really good and competitive. So I didn't want to potentially risk getting rid of that. So now as we come back onto the track through turns 1 and 2, you see Hamilton already gone through, Bubba Wallace gone through, and I believe that is Kyle Busch coming up to our right-hand side. No, that is actually Chris Buescher for the 84 Red Bull car. Then you got Ty Gibbs, who's having a good run today. Kyle Larson, a good run. Both of those drivers already have wins this season. So, of course, we race those guys differently with how desperate we are this season. By the way, on lap 19, though, into turns 1, Ty Gibbs actually loses an engine in 6th place. No caution will come out, but that gives us a really good comfort zone from 7th on back because they were running us down, and now we're not going to have to worry about them getting to us before the stage comes to a close. Lewis Hamilton was back out in front. Then he lost the lead to Christian Eckes here coming to 2 laps ago. They were going back and forth, Eckes for Red Bull, and then Hamilton for Mercedes now as we came through to the final lap of stage 1. It was actually like side by side pretty much between Eckes and Hamilton down the back straightaway on the final lap there as we are comfortably up here in P6 holding on to a nice strong stage 1 result now as they come through turns 3 and 4. The leaders do. Hamilton makes the pass on Eckes through the center of 3 and 4, and Lewis Hamilton is going to come through to win stage 1 and get another playoff point here as we exit turns 4 down the front straightaway. A very strong stage 1 effort here as this team continues to get better and better and starting to click on just everything, and I'm starting to really feel like we're getting close to where we were at Gordon Hendrick Motorsports when we left with that 24 car, when we were a threat every single week to win races. We're of course not quite at that point to win races yet, but we are getting very close now as Lewis Hamilton though picks up, like I said, another playoff point there as he continues to win stages, just cannot seem to find his way back to victory lane ever since he won at Daytona earlier in the season. So we're going to come into the pit lane for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires. Once again, I'm not making any adjustments because the car really did feel really good there, so I was pretty confident in just the outlook at this second stage here as Lewis Hamilton wins the first and opening stage here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Back from Atlanta here in Henry County, Georgia, ready to go green for the start of this second stage. You see some cloud cover here over the track, but there was no threat of rain, thank goodness, here today. So getting ready to go green for the start of stage 2, where we will restart P6. Hamilton lost the lead on the pit lane, now in the front row, still in second place, as it is time to get amped here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. you can definitely see that lack of horsepower in this number 6 Mac Tools Ford Mustang here today for Roche LeBron Racing, as we just don't quite have what we need to just downright beat these guys down a straightaway. We have to rely on that draft, and unfortunately, by the time lap 7 of stage 2 came around, I had lost contact with 7th place and above, lost that draft, and once I lost the draft, I couldn't really do anything at that point. I was just hoping that the guys behind me didn't run me down, but the caution comes out, and now immediately you're going to see we got some very split strategy here. A lot of the leaders staying out, but as well about half of the grid is coming into the pit lane, and I realize you can make it to the end of stage 2 from here. So I was very baffled why these guys were staying out. So I was going to come into the pit lane here, put fuel in the car for fresh tires, but I hit the wrong button and stay out by accident. So myself hitting the wrong button might have just costed us the whole race here of a good finish to close in on the playoffs in the top 16 in points, but we get back underway, and I know immediately we still cannot make it on field because of me hitting the wrong button. We are 3 laps short of making it to the end of this stage, and we're not going to save 3 laps and still run half decent here. So Bubba Wallace took a 3 wide there on the restart, goes to the front over Eckes as well as his Red Bull teammate of Chris Buescher. Eckes surprisingly still looking for that first win on the season, the defending Cup Series champion, our first ever actual driver and car to win a championship that was modded into the series. So that was a big point in my opinion for our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode now, as we're up the inside of Kyle Busch on the exit of turns 4, looking for his 5th championship in his final NASCAR Cup Series season in our final season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. Now as we go down into turns 1, we have an opportunity to potentially clear that 18 of Kyle Busch, and now to turns 2, it's close but not close enough to getting clear here, and I'm just fighting as hard as I can because I didn't bother even thinking about trying to save fuel. I said, you know what, here's what we're going to try and do, is we're going to just run as hard as we can, go as long as we can, and then pit as late as possible in this stage so we can put 4 tires on the car, 2 cans of fuel on the car, and then when the caution comes out for the end of the stage, we can just stay out, take the wave around, we're back on the lead lap. I knew the AI weren't going to be that smart, so I could outsmart all of the guys that were in the same position as us there. As you saw, a bit of a mistake for myself, clipping that apron. We dropped down now to 8th place as Kyle Larson is going to go through there for Gordon Hendrick on the inside, and then Sam Mayer from McLaren as well coming through up the inside. Chris Buescher now leading the way over Bubba Wallace and the number 83 of Christian Eckes here. So like I said, just trying to hang on as long as I can, but the fresh tires were here. Chase Elliott was the first one to get through the traffic that pitted, and now here he comes through down into turn 3, and you're gonna just see the speed he has. He goes up to the outside and he is just hauling the mail here around Kyle Larson, around everybody. It was just a matter of time until he was going to be leading. He was guaranteed to win the stage at this point. Now as pit stops start to happen, like I said, for me, I'm staying out as long as I can because as well a caution could come out and save us, but as well, if we pit as late as possible, we don't have to pit at the end of stage 2 and we can take that wave around. Chase Elliott, as expected, out in front in the closing laps of the stage. Now, as you can see, the final driver in front of me had come into the pit lane. That was Eckes, and then at the end of lap 20, I come into the pit lane because I couldn't have gone any further than this. So we get it down to pit speed. No speeding today on 2 green flag pit stops. I was very proud of myself, not going to lie, as we put on 4 tires, 2 cans of fuel in the car, and we come back out. And it was crucial to make sure, of course, that we stay just 1 lap down, and we actually had a very comfortable gap over Chase Elliott, so we were looking very good in that sense. Now, as we of course are not looking good overall, we're down here in P16, getting passed now by the 84, the 23, as well as you see the 45 goes by. So we're down in 19th place. Here comes Sam Mayer as well. Christian Eckes clearly did not have a good pit stop as we even get out in front of him. He's right on our back bumper into turns 3 and 4, bringing Kyle Busch along with them. Now, as we come through out of turns 4, we're already approaching the final lap of stage 2. So I didn't want to just push hard here on this last lap. I said, you know what, if that 83 wants to pass me and the 18 to Kyle Busch, they can go ahead, as I actually make a mistake there through turns 1 and 2, but they are going to pit at the end of the stage and we are not. So I'm not pushing these tires whatsoever. I'm saving every single percent I possibly can on the tire wear. Right now 99% into turn 3. Chase Elliott has won this second stage here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we are just gliding through turn 3, cruising here, and we come through for P22 in stage 2. So we gave up stage points there because I hit the wrong button, and we put ourselves in an awkward position over that. But we do have the opportunity to take that wave around. So unfortunately, we're still going to have to go to the back of the pack with the wave around. So we still have a lot of work cut out for us here if we want to rebound from that mistake from myself. But I'm confident we can pull something off here because there's going to be a lot of slower cars up front that don't have to actually be a lap down here at the end of stage 2. As you can see, that top 10 order looks very interesting. So that's another advantage towards us as well, as Chase Elliott wins stage 2 here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. one final stage to complete here from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Stage 3 about to get underway as we're at the back of the pack due to taking the wave around, but we're 17th place by taking the wave around here. So unfortunate situation we have found ourselves in, but it might work out in the end as we are underway for the start of stage 3. Chris Buescher got the lucky dog, so there he is in 16th place. So he, we know, is fast and way faster than us and potentially the fastest car here today. 2 wins already on the season. He had a bit of a slow start to the season, and then about what, I think it was race 6, 7, 8, somewhere in there, he just took off and has been really, really fast, and we definitely know he's going to be a championship threat, I think, and Chris Buescher could very well be a Final Four driver. I think the one driver, though, that I look at so far that's almost guaranteed to be a Final Four competitor is Lewis Hamilton. He almost made the Final Four last season in our career mode. A very interesting playoffs Lewis Hamilton had last season. He was on the verge of being eliminated going into the Charlotte Roval in the round of 12, actually got his first NASCAR Cup Series win there and got himself into the round of 8, and then he was about to advance into the round of 8 at Mid-Ohio with the win, and then I actually moved him out of the way in the final turn to win that race, and then Hamilton got eliminated. So Hamilton was very close to making it to the Final Four last season, and this season it's taken him, what, 3 full-time seasons to kind of, I guess, get the handle on the Cup Series cars, and you see how it's helping him this season. He is on an absolute tear. It's looking like Formula One Lewis Hamilton again with 7 world titles and 100 Grand Prix victories now as we come through turns 1 up the inside of Rajah Caruth. You can see those slower cars I was talking about that were up inside the top 10, and that was benefiting us very, very much. We got up the inside of the 42 of Daniel Hemrick, very quiet, as well as, I mean, Chip Ganassi racing this season, and from the past 2-3 seasons have been extremely quiet with Gregson, Timmy Hill, as well as now Daniel Hemrick. It used to be Tyler Reddick in that 42, but he moved over to the Rush LeBron team and now is, of course, teammates with us. Now is actually up in the outside wall on lap 60. We had the number 24 of William Byron there as he has blown a tire. The caution comes out, and you can see immediately nobody is going to be pitting that's on the lead lap except for the 24 blue tire, and he is going to remain in the race and remain on the lead lap as well. I decide, well, you know what? We're going to pit here because we can probably make it to the end of this race. It says we're about 3 laps short, but don't forget we're going to have 2 caution laps here in between the cutscene and the restart. So we go down to 16th place, but we don't go to the back of the pack. We're actually in 16th now in the grid. So all of a sudden I realize, you know what? We made a huge mistake earlier pressing the wrong button, and that completely messed us over in stage 2, and it looked like it messed us over throughout the rest of this race. But now there's 19 laps to go, and we have 18 laps to field. We only need to save 1 lap. That is very, very easy to do with the amount of time we have left, and there's not a single car in front of us that can make it to the end of this race. William Byron in the 24 might be able to make it, but he would have to save fuel as well, and the AI don't usually like to save much fuel. So I feel like all of a sudden, if it stays green to the end of this race, less than 20 laps to go, it's very possible it does stay green, we are going to be gifted our first win with this Roush LeBron Racing team. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't make any stupid mistakes, don't run into anybody the wrong way and turn them around, just try to play it safe as we go down into turns 1, because I realize as well as we have this 4 fresh tire advantage, we're going to be hauling the mail around some of these drivers, and you can see it right there out of turn 2 up the inside of the 10 of De Benedetto, now up the inside of the 84 of Chris Buescher. We just blew right on past one of the fastest cars of the day here in Atlanta. Now as you can see up front, it's Elliott, it's Eric Jones, it's Lewis Hamilton, Joey Logano, and we would enter the top 5 and then run down Joey Logano, Lewis Hamilton, Eric Jones as we went down this back straight away here on lap 66. Elliott was long gone at this point here, but I didn't really care too much about him because I know he has to pit. So as we come through turns 3 and 4, we go all the way up to the inside of Eric Jones, and we're going to move up into 2nd place here in the final 15 laps in Atlanta. We will win this race if it stays green here. Now to lap 67 out of turns 4 up in front of Chase Elliott. He's slowing down because the 78 of Justin Haley is blowing up on the track. We go through and take the lead here in Atlanta. Unbelievable scenes. All of a sudden we are leading the way for the 2nd straight race here in this Roush LeBron 6 car, and then we would actually come back around before the 78 had made it to the pit lane. We would pass him again on lap 69, and that would allow me to build up even more of a gap because Elliott and everybody else would have to slow up even more to avoid him. So all of a sudden we have a huge lead, and everybody behind us has to pit. So just please, please, please stay green. We will win this race. As I say that, the 45 blows a right front tire, Kraus into the outside wall, and the caution comes out. You've got to be kidding me. We were going to win this race. I cannot believe that caution just came out. We come in for 2 cans of fuel, 4 fresh tires. William Byron only takes 2 tires, and now we're second place for the restart. We know we got more speed than the 24 car here today in Atlanta, so I'm not concerned about him. But now everybody can make it to the end of this race with less than 10 laps to go, and everybody has 4 fresh tires except for that 24 William Byron. So we know the odds of us now winning this race are pretty low, considering that guys like Chase Elliott, Eric Jones, Chris Buescher, Lewis Hamilton, their cars are just downright faster than ours. So I was very disappointed that caution came a bit heartbreaking, to say the least, here, as we go down this back straightaway side by side with the 9 of Chase Elliott. Through turns 3 and 4, we should be able to get alongside that 24 of William Byron, I would at least expect here. And sure enough, he slows up a little bit on the inside. That allows me to get closer and closer out of turns 4. Turns 1 and 2 is really where we can make that second lane work. So the goal here is to get in front of that 24 car and just play as much defense as we possibly can. As we go down into turns 1, we're going to be right on that door tight with William Byron in clear as we exit turn 2, back out in front as I go a little bit too hard into the corner, and we actually catch the wall on the exit of turn 2. We would hold on to the lead for the time being over the number 7 of Eric Jones there for McLaren. Lewis Hamilton is going to move up into the 3rd position. Now I knew it was going to be very hard to hold him off, because here he comes charging already on the exit of turn 4. I didn't even have an opportunity to slide down in front of him. He was coming at me so fast, and Hamilton just blows our doors right off and takes the lead here in the closing laps in Atlanta. And now Joey Logano on lap 76 up our inside as well, and some contact with him right there through the center of the corner, the exit of turn 2. We slide up a little bit, but we were able to keep it going in P3. But I was just dropping like a rock at this point here in the final 5 laps. Eric Jones gets up the inside. Chase Elliott does as well. He's going to go through, and we drop down to the 5th position. And we were, like I said, just hanging on for dear life at this point. Here comes Chris Buescher on lap 79. He is going to go through on the inside as well. So we drop down to P6, coming up on 2 laps to go. Hamilton hoping it stays green, because he's about to get his second win on the season. A lap and a half to go now, and we're going to actually put the attack to the inside of Eric Jones. All of a sudden, we found a little bit more speed left in this car here coming to the final lap, and Lewis Hamilton exits turns 4. He will come through to the white flag. The race is now official, as we're still side by side with that Aero number 7 Chevrolet Camaro for McLaren of Eric Jones into turns 1. We had an opportunity once again, 2 episodes in a row, to win. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out in both episodes, but nonetheless, here running P5, we made big gains in points today, and likely will be in the top 16 in the playoffs at the end of this race, as Lewis Hamilton leads the way out of turns 4, and for the 2nd time this season, the 3rd time in his NASCAR career, he will come through to win in Atlanta as we cross the line for a top 5 finish at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Of course, a lot of weird moments in this race with strategy and hitting that wrong button earlier in the race, and here we are finishing in the top 5 at the end of the day. So overall, it almost kind of worked out for us, you could say. Here as you see the rest of the finishing order, only 18 cars on the lead lap. Christian Eckes got trapped a lap down. Kyle Busch did as well. Kyle Larson, all of those guys were up in the mix. Derek Kraus as well. All 4 of those drivers up in the mix today to potentially compete for the race of victory. It just didn't work out for them with the odd strategy and caution timing, of course, there in stage 2. So in the next one, we actually have some more NASCAR Legends Series racing at Eldora. We had a really strong run when we did our last race in this series, so hopefully we can continue that into Eldora. We have Charlotte in both trucks and Xfinity, and then we have Talladega in the Cup Series. So very excited to see what we can pull off at Talladega, a track that we've won at multiple times. But we are now inside of the playoffs here by about 10 points or so over Sam Mayer. So we're doing pretty good. Hamilton dominating the points right now. You can see how good he's doing. 504 points overall, leading the regular season championship over Chase Elliott, who is closest to him in 2nd place. But as always, if you guys enjoyed, you know what to do. I'd like to thank you all for taking the time of your day to watch this episode, and very excited for the races we have coming up, and as well scared for some of the races we have coming up. But before we end it, just want to say thank you to the members of MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Hayes Gaming, Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, Russell Dixon, Kenneth Barnett, Dana 9302, Speed Demon 341, Ellis Emery, as well as Jay Fitz. I appreciate you guys' support so much, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.